All right, so today we're going to look at the back of the thighs. We're going to apply some oil and do some stroking movements, deep stroking movements with thumbs and different parts of our hand. We're going to change our hand positions in order to have a rest, not just overuse one section, not just use our thumbs, but use the back of our hand. Getting that oil in there, getting some blood flow happening, and then we can bring the leg up and then bring it to the side and then start to work up the ITB band. This can be very tight on a lot of people, so it can be quite sensitive. I now consider this to be part of the outer little toe band, and this is me working obviously in 2003. It's now 2020 when I'm doing this voiceover. But I would work at the end of the little toe using a chopstick now to really release that better. But this is how I used to work 17 years ago. So again, getting that blood flow happening, working on the big muscles. And that's what I often say in my more recent videos is I spent a lot of time, I've been massaging for 30 years. And I spent a lot of time working big muscles of the body. And sometimes I'd find I'd work them and they wouldn't release. And they'd just be made sore if you work them too much. And that's where working the ends of the bands come in. So I didn't like that ankle rotation there as much as this one, where I'm actually holding the back of the heel. And then coming up and working individual bands, what I would have then called just muscles. But now I look at them as bands of tension. So that's one of the ways that Raynor massage has evolved. I used to actually call it remedial massage, like it's called in Australia. But my style has evolved a lot. So here we're just working with some oil, getting into some back of the thighs, hamstring kind of work, and calves. So again, loosening up, taking away any tension that we can get rid of using our hands. Again, these days I would tend not to use my thumbs as much as I used to. I would tend to sort of use more elbows there, or at least forearms. I think when I was younger, I just used my thumbs a lot. It wasn't until one day I was working a whole bunch of tilers actually, and one of my thumbs gave out on me that I started to really realize that I have to be careful. And yeah, certainly I've changed my techniques now to use more forearms and elbows and that sort of thing. Even along here, I would use more of a forearm these days. But obviously when you're young, you can afford to get away with certain things. So yeah, just doing the big strokes right up, just like with Kahuna massage, they like to do big strokes through the body, which gets that whole energy and blood flow moving. And that's one advantage of oil. Although the disadvantage of oil is it's hard to get into the detail of the toes and the fingers. So separating that calf muscle, getting in some deep work there. I find it a lot easier to work the thigh with the leg up. I still do this, except I would use, again, knuckles more than thumbs. But you can see we're getting in pretty deep and right into the calf muscle, and especially that bottom of the calf muscle. It's obviously good deep tissue massage stuff. Yeah, at this stage I was still running the school, teaching in Australia, teaching overseas, and people were still loving the techniques that I was using, especially for deeper massage. That's a pressure point I still use, right in the ankles there, and I still do that. I just stabilize it a bit more these days, keep it less moving around. But back of the ankles, I call that area the treasure troves because there's so much tension hidden in there. Still use a lot of those pressure points in between the metatarsals, which are the bones that go past where the toes are into the foot. It's all working the lymphatic system and reflexology. Getting into the heel. So I feel like what I used to do was a bit more random, and I spent less time on the toes. Looking at it, 17 years later, probably double my career later, but from a critical point of view. Coming into the hips and buttocks. This is still a technique I use. I get the elbow right into a band of tension there, and then move the leg sideways. So not back and forth, but sideways. And it gets right into that tension. And that's definitely still a good technique I use. And adjusting the position slightly. Again, using your body weight, leaning right in there. And then even elevating that to get in even deeper. And just working with the elbow into those hip points. That's good. Looks good. So many good hip points for sciatica and different things like that. So these are just some great ways to get in there. Still, like, working there. But again, here I would probably work the outside of the little toe more to get the roots of that band, which is the outer little toe band. I don't really do this technique much anymore because it's a bit intimate for people, but it was something I was taught when I was first learning massage to get into the buttocks like that. Now I would tend to keep the buttocks covered with a towel even over their underwear, and use more of my elbows in there. But yeah, that was just a technique I'd been taught in massage school or massage school. Still good, but it's just a bit intimate for a lot of people. So these days I tend to be more conservative with draping and working into the buttocks. But still getting in there. So good for all that lower back pain and tension that people get. These moves are really good. Be done with knuckles or elbows. These are percussion moves, always done with a loose wrist. And just help tenderize an area, get the blood flow happening, loosen up muscles. I still use these techniques today. He had very tight hips. He's a martial artist from Perth in Western Australia. A friend of mine used to run a martial arts studio over there. And he was one of his students. He was saying to me, actually, a guy that ran it, that the way I used to massage was the way a lot of people work martial arts. So more free form, working with the energies and that sort of thing. So I'm obviously explaining about opening up the flow of the blood and the chi there. So interestingly, now I'm doing the other side, but interestingly with a lot of martial arts, there is a lot of similarities to massage and healing work. A lot of the early Chinese massage was done at some of the monasteries, like the Shaolin monastery, and for Kung Fu. And a lot of shiatsu was done with people that practiced Aikido and karate in Japan. So, there's been a long history basically of a connection, and people obviously who did all these martial arts like Aikido, which is basically working with the opponent's ki or chi or life force, all believed in life force, okay, because that's part of Asian culture, especially Chinese and Japanese and Thai. So yeah, a lot of my original studies were in remedial massage, but then I studied shiatsu pretty soon after and used a lot of techniques from shiatsu. And the goal of shiatsu is similar to acupuncture in that it's about opening up the flow of the chi, getting things moving. So sometimes we use small techniques, and sometimes we use big techniques like this one, getting the elbow right into a point. And in acupuncture they use a very big needle in this point. So this move is going to open up the whole flow of the chi, and what in acupuncture we call the gallbladder meridian. I call it the outer little toe band because in my years of experience I used to use a lot of meridian theory, but sometimes I couldn't feel meridians. Like with the gallbladder meridian, I couldn't feel a zigzag that kind of happens in the outer side of the leg. Felt it as a straight band. So again, these are moves that you can do with oil these days. I tend to sort of, like I said, be a bit more conservative. I wouldn't get right into people's buttocks these days, but yeah, you wouldn't want to slip or anything. No, that's a joke. But just, yeah, for intimacy and personal contact and that sort of thing, I'd tend to use more elbows through the towels these days. But this is how I was taught originally, so, there's nothing wrong with it if it's done professionally, but I personally just nowadays have gone more conservative. But can certainly be done on people that you know well or trust, and it's up to you really. Still, so I certainly didn't have any unprofessional intentions or anything like that. It's just more, we're just looking at it as muscles and that sort of thing. But I noticed over the years of having many clinics and things like that, yeah, you got to be careful. Some people will have unprofessional motives and disguise it when they're massaging. So certain techniques, but this is a good one. This can be done again with that towel pulled up a bit more, more privacy. Excuse me. Just drinking my kombucha here as I narrate. Hope you're all doing well with the coronavirus pandemic, doing your social isolation. You can still massage the people in your family though, and practice techniques and just learn and get better and better and better. I mean, when I first started massaging, I'd massage my father, I'd massage my sister. Just, experience, trial and error to a certain extent. For me, back here, 17 years ago, there's a lot of things I've learned since then. How to do even better. How to get more release of muscular tension with less effort and with less discomfort on the part of the person. So making far more rapid progress toward completely freeing the body of tension. There's a younger Brandon for you.